Sweet birch. Today we're going to make a sweet birch in vegetable glycerin and distilled water. What we're going to need is the sweet birch inner bark, and that's right here. This here, if you remember, was the sweet birch or black birch outer bark. We don't use this, so we're not going to use that. We're going to use the inner bark. Going to put the inner bark in a Vitamix. You can see it in there. Using the Vitamix. I'm not going to turn it on because it's really loud, but I've did some previously. Turns the inner bark into some powder, so some of it is cut up into pieces. Also, got a label. Make sure to label it. Gonna put 600 milliliters of the vegetable glycerin and 400 milliliters of distilled water. We'll use a spoon to mix it up. So we have 600 milliliters of vegetable glycerin in here, 400 milliliters of distilled water. We're going to stir it till it becomes a clear solution. And we're going to pour this into this quart jar. We're going to stir this up to make sure that everything gets the solution on it. Filled up to the top. Put our lid on there. And shake this up to make sure that everything gets covered in the distilled water and vegetable glycerin. We're going to let that sit in a cool, dark place for about 2 to 4 weeks. And then we'll strain it off. Also, make sure to shake it every day. Also going to talk about how to make a tincture of the sweet birch or the black birch. If you remember from my video when we went out and collected the inner bark of the sweet birch, that we collected this bark and it dried it out, and to speed up the process I'm just using the Vitamix, but you could break it if you needed to. You could just break it, but this really speeds up the process using the Vitamix. So I put some in here. You put the lid on. I usually go to number 4, let it go till it's pretty small bits. There's gonna be some dust in there. I'm not going to turn it on because it is very loud. And then just filled up the jar with the bark, the inner bark, and then I just poured over it 80 proof vodka and filled up the jar. So the jar is already full, and I've labeled it sweet birch or black birch inner bark. 40% vodka, 80 proof, and the date on there. So just for letting it sit there for a little bit, it's already starting to smell like the wintergreen smell or that sweet smell. We're going to let that sit for 2 to 4 weeks and then strain out the inner bark. We'll have a tincture that you can rub on your skin. Thank you for watching and continue to learn about herbs. See you in the next video.